In this video, we will learn how to build a simple MCP or the Model Context Protocol server from scratch in TypeScript, and we will add a basic AI agents and integrate it with the Visual Studio Code. The goal of this tutorial is to help beginners understand the concept of MCP servers and agentic AI. So before we deep dive into the MCP servers or the Model Context Protocol, we need to first understand the concept behind the agentic AI. By the definition, agentic AI means the AI that uses the autonomous component, which means the agents, to reason, act, and collaborate using the tools. So, what it means in the reality? Let's understand this with the example. So, if you take an individual LLM and ask the question, for example, what is the current affairs or what are the current events today? Then LLM will not be able to respond. Why? Because LLM is trained on the historical data and it does not have the context of what is happening now. So this was a limitation to use the LLM. So data scientists have introduced the concepts of agents. And now the LLM is introduced with the capabilities. In this diagram, you see the LLM is associated or the capability of reading the Google Drives, Slack, and GitHub APIs. Now, when user asks the prompt, for example, what are my files in the drive? Then LLM knows that what the prompt means. It understands which capability I should use, and then it invokes the API of the Google Drive. The whole setup is called the AI agents. Now, with the help of AI agents, we can easily interact with the real-time data, for example, our database or any file or even the internet. So this is the concept behind using the agentic AI. But the problem is that these capabilities, like exposing the API to the LLM, is not the standardized, which means that every organization or every enterprise has their own way of implementing the capabilities and integrating with the LLMs. So this creates a problem when the cross functionality or when the services are exposed to the other organizations. So to overcome this problem, Anthropic has introduced the Model Context Protocol. This was introduced to standardize how large language model interacts with the tools, data sources, external system in the agentic framework. You can think of MCP like it empowers the LLMs to use tools in a structured, reliable, and scalable way. So if we talk about the three key benefits of using the MCP, then let's go one by one. So MCP allows the structured schema-based interaction between the LLMs and tools. It enables the reliable and predictable tool use. Next, we have a modular and extensible design that allows the easy addition and maintenance of the agents. And finally, we have support multiple agents in one server, which means that it enables the complex and collaborative workflow. First, we will create the stocks MCP server. This returns the latest price of the stock. And after that, we will create the weather MCP server. This returns the current temperature of the city. Now we have two MCP servers. We will integrate these two MCP servers into the Visual Studio Code GitHub Copilot. So this is the Visual Studio GitHub Copilot. And now we will have the integration. Now user launch the GitHub Copilot chat. In the GitHub Copilot chat, when the user asks is that what is the weather today in Mumbai, then the LLM models behind the GitHub Copilot figure out that which of the server will be able to serve this request. And this time it selects the weather MCP. And, and the weather MCP server returns the correct response, means the current temperature of the Mumbai. Next, when user asks the question that how's Apple performing today, then the LLM or the GitHub Copilot chat figure out that which MCP server needs to be invoked. This time, this is a stocks MCP, and that returns the latest price of the Apple stocks. All right, so let's see how it looks like creating an MCP server. So we have two MCP servers, a stocks agent and weather agent. And it has only one logic file called index.js. This is a TypeScript application. You see, we have imported some of the dependencies which is required to build the MCP server. We are specifying the server specification. We have a method which is the get stock price by symbol. The purpose of this method is that it takes the symbol as an input. It defines some of the key value pairs because I don't want to call the real-time data. This is just to demonstrate the demo. We have a stock price, and now we have a logic to fetch the latest price of the symbol based on the input parameter. Okay, then we define the tool of this server. So the tool name is that get stock price by symbol. We validate the input, for example, z.string, it should be a string. And then the logic is that it invokes the method by passing the symbol it received from the input. And this description is very important because this is a prompt that tells the LLMs that what is the capability of this tool, why this tool is invoked, and what is the specifications of this tool. And then finally, we init it. We initialize the method. Let's take a look at this other agent. This is a weather agent. Similar structure. It has an index.js. It has one private method called get weather by city name. Again, the same thing. It takes a input as a city. Here we are calling it dynamically. So we get the dynamic temperature or the dynamic city or the latest dummy data of the temperature. So this invokes the API by API key, and it passes the city as an input parameter. Then we define a tool called get weather by city name. This is the actual tool which is exposed by this server. Again, we are validating that this should be a string. And again, we defining the description. For example, fetch the weather information. This is just like a prompt or the instruction. You can think of it as a system prompt that tells about this tool. And same thing, we initializing it again. Now, the next step is that we add this MCP servers, both of these MCP server into the GitHub Copilot. So let's launch the GitHub Copilot. We open the chat window, and here you see the mode. This is the three mode available: ask, edit, and agent. So we need to switch to the agent mode. And then we see an option like select tool. So you click on it. It prompts you that add the MCP server. So we want to add these two MCP server. So click on this and select the first one, which is the command stdio. It is asking for the command. So type the command node and give the path of the index.js and press enter. Now it is asking for the MCP server name. So we call it stocks server. And this is asking for that where you want to save the settings. So we will say that we want to save in the workspace settings. So it has created a mcp.json and it has specified the parameters that we have given earlier. Now again, repeat the same steps for the other agent, which is the weather agent. Again, launch the add MCP, type node, and this time we specify the path of the weather index.js and press enter. This time we specify the server name of the weather. Again, we are giving the path of this setting, which is a workspace setting. So now you see both of these server specifications are added into the mcp.json file, which is inside the MVS code. Now, now you see we have two start option here. So let's click the start and click the start again. So what we are doing is we are integrating the stocks and weather servers, MCP server into the VS code, into the GitHub Copilot. And here you see two tools are appearing here. And when you click on this, it says that MCP server, stock server, it offers one tool, get stocks price based symbol, and weather server is exposing one tool, which is a get weather by city name. Okay. All right. So let's test this whole scenario. Here, I just press a new chat and ask some question. For example, what is temperature in Shimla? And GitHub Copilot is now thinking that which of the tool is available to serve this response request. And this says that get weather by city name is detected. Do you want to continue? Because I am in the developer mode, so it is asking me the prompt. Otherwise, you can allow always, but let's not do that and continue it. So now you can see the current temperature in Shimla is 20 degree and the weather is described as patchy rain nearby. So let's dig down into the tool it invoked. From the prompt, it automatically detects that what is the city I'm asking the temperature for, and it detected that this is the Shimla. So the response come as temperature 20. This is a dynamic response came from the API. Let's make some more prompt and make it complex. For example, I am planning to visit capital of Uttar Pradesh. How it should be there. And now you see it is detected that get weather by city name is invoked. Press continue. And fantastic. You can see the current temperature in Lucknow, the capital of Uttar Pradesh, is 31.3 degree. It has automatically detected that what I'm asking the temperature for. I have not mentioned the exact city name, but it determined from my prompt. You know why? Because LLM automatically knows that what is the capital of Uttar Pradesh state in India. And it has figured out that, okay, this is Lucknow. So it has provided the Lucknow as an input to the tool. Okay, let's try to invoke the other server. For example, I'm planning to invest in SBI. How is it looking today? So let's see what it does. It automatically thinks that, okay, this time it has to invoke the get stock price by symbol. And I press continue. And you can see the response that the current stock price of SBIN is 600 rupees. So it has fetched the latest information about the stocks. Let me ask some other question. How about TCS? So it detected that again, I'm asking the stock price of the TCS. The current stock price of TCS is 3,500. This is the latest price as per the logic we had implemented in our in MCP server. So, so now you notice that I'm asking the how about TCS. I haven't completed the question, but it understand based on my conversation that I'm asking the latest stock price of the TCS. So I hope this makes the concept clear and you now understand that what is the importance of implementing the MCP server and what steps it involves in integrating the MCP server into the host like Visual Studio GitHub Copilot. So thank you for watching this video. Keep learning.